This is the Effing Business Podcast. You ask the questions, we answer.
Back, episode 16. Here we go.
16.
Let's do it. Last episode, we talked a little bit about failures, failing forward, and things that we've learned from failing. Today, a little bit talk about those failures for the 2019 year. We're early on in 19. About things that how you to sort of set off with a good on the right foot, moving forward in the year for this year and more years to come. So, like some ideas that you have about things you think about early 2019. And on how to move the year forward in the years ahead of it to 2020, 2021, so on.
On a personal note, anytime there's like a new mile marker, new year, so forth, I always think about what I can do personally, how I could be more efficient in my personal life that allows me to spend more time and spend my time better at work and so forth.
Right.
So that's something I'm always thinking about around New Year's.
Right.
Business-wise, we identify, I think, specifically the expenditures because that's the end of the financial year.
Right.
And go through it and see what's not necessary. What is working? What's helping us achieve our goals?
Right.
What's not? What can we cut and divert to what is working or new ideas that are working?
So it's like a time to sit back and say, listen, this is what we spent all the year's expenditures. This is where we made money. This is where we didn't make money. This is where we're spending too much money. This is where we're not spending money. Divert funds, things like that.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Beyond just like fund allocation and stuff like that and spending money here or there, what other things like could you do for like on a personal level is good, but like as a business, not like I want to lose weight this year, I want to do like that. That's to me.
I think it's the same thing in the sense that you have a goal that you want to achieve
Right.
for your business, and it's a great time to start executing it, right? So like for us, we wanted to last year be in more states. We did a lot of trial and error. We're operating in more states than we started with. Our goal again this year is now to pinpoint and focus on it. We know how to execute and we know how to actually do it, and to spend your time doing that.
Right. For me, I think every beginning of the year, it could be January for a lot of people. For example, like farmers, they have a different beginning of the year, fiscal year, and things like that. Like they have a different year because of their farming schedules. So, like any business, for me, I think it's setting up not only just like allocation stuff like that. It's setting up yourself for Rome wasn't built in a day. And those milestone times like January, it really sets you up for those big steps, right? You're not going to make micro goals and things like I want $200,000 in revenue this every week for the first week of January. No, you don't make things like that. You say like I want to be in more states. That's a big jump. I want to be in, if you're selling a widget, I want to be in X amount of supermarkets or X amount of department stores or so on and so forth. Whatever you may be doing, you're making large jumps that are macro goals overall. Making those macro goals are obviously precedent on what you did the year before.
So what you're saying is you have to be realistic. You can't, accomplish.
No, you could set crazy goals,
but you also have to
understand
how you're
that these are crazy goals. Like I'm fine with you shooting for the moon and not making it because you'll still be in space, right? Like Emmitt Smith, when he was in college, when he was in high school, when he was a kid, he made a crazy list. I'm going to be in the NFL. I'm going to be the leading rusher. I'm going to be all-time leading rusher. Like he had these crazy goals. In my rookie season, I'm going to be the NFL leading rusher. Like, that doesn't happen, especially back then. Now it happens a little bit sometimes. But, like, that doesn't happen. A rookie comes in and leads the league in rushing. So it was, for everyone else, it's like, yeah, good luck, buddy. But, like, he said, if I don't put it there, if I put it obtainable, great, I may feel a little bit better about myself, but I may not be actually further along. Okay, it's being unsatisfied with your goals, like unsatisfied with the result because you fell short of where you are, but you're still far ahead about anyone else. So he told, as I watched this thing, he tells his kids, like, listen, I don't mind if you set lofty goals and fails, as long as they're so far and you're ahead of everyone else.
But every day he went to work and he worked towards those goals.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that's where a lot of people fail.
They make lofty goals and never put the effort.
Yeah. So they have these ideas, but they never do anything to get there.
Oh, 100%. You have to put in the effort, obviously.
So I think when the year starts, you should be quantifying the goals, but how you're actually going to get to that goal. Right? Don't reduce your goal. Don't say, I can't get there. Right? Because usually you come up with a strategy, and when it works way better than you thought. Right? But you have to quantify.
But even those quantifies have to be farther than even almost obtainable.
Correct.
Right? Like, for example,
they have to be a little bit out of reach.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to work more hours than there are in the month. Okay, it's not reachable. It's physically, humanly impossible. But if you put a smaller number, you reach it, great, rah, you reach your flag, but you only worked 100 hours.
Right, because if you're going to do exactly what you said you're going to do in the first place, you probably don't need goals at all. They definitely have to be forward-thinking.
Right. So I mean, when it comes to setting up the 2019, I think for me, it's setting like those Rome building goals. It's not built in a day. It's not built in a year. You know, like I've talked a lot about like you having a lot of really forward, really almost too far ahead thought processes that could sound great today, and maybe in 2 years the world changes, technology changes, so on and so forth. They're almost outdated. But not saying that, we're not pushing ourselves to be anywhere further along down the line. Right, I've talked a lot about like that you do that, and I'm a little bit more analytical about it, saying like, Aaron, it's crazy, you can't get there, but we can get here, so on and so forth. But if that idea is not thrown out there, then I may not ever actually come up with, okay, we can't do that.
It forces us to think.
Correct.
It forces us to see, okay, it's a little lofty, it's a little difficult, but how can it be done? What can we do to execute it?
So I think, me personally, I think me and Aaron make a lot of resolutions or like things we want to do personally on a personal level, but usually they're all regulated to work things. Like we want to be more focused with work. We want to be more, certain things that have to do with, it's not, we want to lose weight. And if we want to lose weight, it's just so we can live longer and make more money. So like, that's, so like it's just a matter of, I think that you have to have those crazy ideas out there, because those crazy ideas are what not push you forward, but pull you forward.
When we first started, we had nothing, right? Nothing. We didn't have any money. We didn't have any experience. We didn't have access to talent, right? Talented employees. We've built, right? So these ideas that are far-reaching, while still being far-reaching, they're more attainable or they're easier to execute because we have relationships with people. We have employees who are talented. We have a lot of things. We have an arsenal at our disposal that didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
Also
so
man hours.
Right.
Like if we wanted something done, right? Let's say technically it took 2,000 man hours, right? So now I just have 10 people work on it for 20 hours half the week, and I get to do that. For me and him, we'd have to sit there for a month pulling it together. You know what I'm saying? Like we can do something in half a week now because of staff and people that would usually take. And again, that comes back to our conversation before, like taking 2 recipes and making one because you have all these. Same thing. We have more people to pull from, more hours to work. Things move faster. So
more talent involved.
Rome isn't built in days, right? I've been saying that. It's true, but back then Rome wasn't built in a year. You know what I'm saying? Like Rome was built in years, not days. Like now it's days. Hopefully we maybe get to hours if
But as it got closer to the end, it escalated significantly, and I think we're not closer to the end. So, there isn't an end for us, but that very beginning I think is the most challenging.
Because it's the hardest. Because you don't have. You're grasping for straws on everything. People go to business school, right? And unless they're like stars, right, in business school, they're not walking into a place owning a business and it just flies off the shelf or whatever they're doing. And they still questioning it, like, yeah, I learned this, but like I don't have real world experience. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm doing. I've never actually done this. Never had like a deal on the table. I don't know what to do. There's always questions of yourself and self-esteem about that, and how to really feel about an idea. And especially if you're in your own little echo chamber within yourself, if it's a business owned by yourself, I feel bad for people that have a business by themselves.
Correct. I think that's one of the benefits of our partnership, and I see that a lot with people we talk to who are on their own.
Yeah.
And they don't have incoming source of ideas and somebody to counter their perspective and so forth. And I think it's a giant mistake people make. They like the idea of owning 100% of something. But
guys who are successful of doing it all by themselves, like really and truly, not even like a supportive like wife, like a wife who can run ideas by, not like. But I'm saying like it's really really difficult. The guys who do
those are the superstars.
They do it all by themselves. Like they're very rare to find someone that can do it all by themselves. Right, like you can make lots of money. Like I think that's the funny place where I say it's a hobby because like if that person doesn't work, the world stops. Right, you're not for them. Like the business isn't going to grow or anything like that. His brother's very successful. He's done very well for himself. But if he doesn't work for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, the connections will slowly go away. Everything will slowly go away. It's hard to. There's no like ecosystem moving things down the line. And he made lots of money within his own head.
Yes, I have no work-life balance.
Yeah,
bullshit. I can't separate. I'm constantly thinking about work. I find it hard not to be at work. The weekends are challenging for me. I enjoy spending time with my family, but I can't. I get in the car. I know other business owners who feel differently, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't turn off work. I wish. In the beginning, I kind of prided myself on it, and now I think it's a curse.
Curse?
Yeah, like I like to think about other things. I like to have other hobbies. I like to do other things. And it's not like I don't have the time. It's just in my mind, I'm always at work.
It's gotten better, in my opinion. The two of us, like, we run a lot of things by each other. We don't really do any, like, internal thinking. Like, everything's put out on a platform, like, text messages, talk, whatever it is. I know my wife's, up my butt about, like, are we having dinner tonight? Or, like, you guys just left each other 10 minutes ago.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I haven't done this in a while, but like if I go out, it doesn't happen often, with my wife by myself, just us two, I leave my phone in the car. And it's weird because I don't know what to do.
Not only that, do you feel like your FOMO bad? Like
I don't have FOMO. You have FOMO.
I get bad.
Fear of missing out. But
I have bad FOMO.
So like I'm used to being on my phone constantly.
Yeah,
I think we all are.
No, but I think for business, like just like maybe someone's going to call me, maybe someone's going to text me, maybe the next call that comes in is going to be who knows what. It doesn't stop. I think yes, it could be a curse in a way. Like it's hard to like constantly be thinking about that. You get almost like not emotionally, but like mentally drained from it. But like I enjoy it so much that like constantly never ending like that curse that you enjoy, but like I wish I didn't have to think about this all the time, but I really enjoy it, so I'll keep doing it. You know, like I find that part hard where you want to do it, but you know you can't. And I don't believe in work-life balance. I think it's bullshit. I think that anybody who believes in work-life balance either should take a very high-paying 9-to-5 or some type of employee role, which is fine. I'm not against them. Like they want to have that, they're choosing that, right? But like to have work-life balance especially in a growing company, a company you're trying to build, it's impossible. Like you're going to go out of business. Fact.
Yeah, because your business needs one thing, time, and you can't. I mean, we talked about like.
But especially in a growing business, like you cannot, and especially in the early years, like when it's just you or you and a partner or you and two employees.
You can't push fast forward. You have to be there and put all the time in and go through all the motions.
So how do you do that? Plus, like we started very young. I was 22, 23?
21.
Fine, 21. See, I had 2 kids pretty quickly, and he got married and had a kid. I mean, we were both like newlyweds with a kid or 2, 3 years into our business. Like it was really difficult. When your wife's calling you and telling you got to come home and you say, I can't because I'm 1, going to an appointment, and 2, I have a meeting. And
that doesn't create any fights.
And then you go home and then have fights, and then, you know, it's really difficult, and that's why I don't believe in work-life balance. I just think like you're kidding yourself that it exists. People kid themselves that they're going to be able to tell their wife like, oh, I got to be home. I can't be home. I got to do this. Like you got to be very clear who you are and what your priorities are, and either she'll accept that or not. But like I didn't know that, right? Like we started like a year in. I didn't know that it was going to take 3-4 years to really see the traction, to see movement. Like maybe I was naive, and I probably was. It was only a year into business. I had no idea how long it was going to take. I thought like, oh, year 1 you're here, the next year you're here, you know, the next year every year grows. I didn't know that year 1 you go up, year 2 you get smacked in the face and you go back to go to jail, don't collect $200. You know, like you don't know those things. But that's what happens.
Just to clarify, you didn't actually go to jail.
No, it's a monopoly term. Sorry.
Just making sure you don't pass go.
Cool. Episode 16. That's a wrap. Thank you. Come again tomorrow.